Pakistan came to Birmingham hoping to make headlines at the Women's T20 World Cup. It did, just not in the way it wanted. Because before a ball was bowled, India refused the customary handshake again. And after the match, there was another crushing defeat. India beat Pakistan by 64 runs in a one-sided contest. But the bigger story here stretches far beyond the scorecard. It is about how a simple cricketing courtesy has become a diplomatic flashpoint, and why India sees absolutely no reason to pretend that everything is normal. When Indian captain Harmanpreet Kaur and Pakistani captain Fatima Sana walked out for the toss, there was no customary greeting, no handshake, no photo op moment, no attempt to manufacture normalcy. This wasn't a surprise. It wasn't a snub delivered in the heat of the moment. It was deliberate and consistent with the position Indian cricket teams have adopted since the bloody Pahalgam terror attack. On the eve of the match, Harmanpreet was in fact asked about the issue. Her response was diplomatic but revealing. She said, "We are here for cricket and we only talk about cricket." That was the point. India wanted the focus on cricket, not political theatre, not manufactured outrage, and certainly not another round of complaints from Pakistan. Now, to understand Birmingham, you have to go back to the Asia Cup in Dubai 2025. That tournament took place in the shadow of the Pahalgam terror attack, an attack that once again revived a question that India has asked for decades. How do you play normal sport with a country accused repeatedly of exporting terrorism into India? India's men's team answered that question in its own way. The players played the match but skipped the ceremonial handshakes, both before and after the game. Pakistan was outraged, not by terrorism, not by the collapse of sporting relations, not even by the reason India had adopted the stars, but by the absence of a handshake. The Pakistani Cricket Board lodged complaints. Officials cried foul. Television debates erupted in Pakistan. It would have been comic, but for the bloody massacre that the nation's military bosses had inflicted in Pahalgam just days before. In fact, for years, India has complained about cross-border terrorism emanating from Pakistan. Pakistan responded with denials. But when India skipped a handshake, suddenly there were emergency complaints and official protests. What happened next after the Asia Cup match made the episode even more embarrassing for Pakistan. The Pakistan Cricket Board filed a formal complaint against the match referee, Andy Pycroft. Their allegation was that he had somehow violated the spirit of cricket by informing Pakistan's captain that India will not be participating in the customary handshake. But the ICC was not convinced, nor was the Asian Cricket Council. Officials clarified that Pycroft was simply communicating India's stated protocol to avoid an awkward live television moment for Pakistani players. In other words, he was trying to save Pakistan's captain from public embarrassment. Then the story became even more awkward for the PCB. Reports emerged that Pakistani officials had delayed a subsequent fixture while pursuing the issue. The board also came under scrutiny for allegedly recording restricted discussions involving tournament officials. What was the result of that? The ICC rejected Pakistan's complaints. No punishments for India, no forced apologies. Instead, the PCB itself faced warnings and scrutiny over protocol breaches. Pakistan had tried to turn the handshake into a scandal. The scandal ended up consuming Pakistan instead. Now let's come back to the Women's T20 World Cup in Birmingham and the results. That was even more painful for Pakistan. India posted 170 runs. Smriti Mandhana looked in complete control. Harmanpreet Kaur led firmly from the front. The batting unit functioned with precision. Pakistan's response never truly threatened the target. Wherever a partnership started to build, India broke it. Whenever Pakistan looked settled, India tightened the screws. The chief destroyer was Deepti Sharma. Her figure of 5 wickets for 10 runs dismantled Pakistan's chase. By the end, Pakistan was all out for 106, and India won the match by 64 runs. Comprehensively, convincingly, and without once looking troubled. Pakistan will likely continue focusing on the handshake. India is focusing, of course, on something else. Results. The reality is that India has not refused to play Pakistan. India continues to honor tournament commitments. India turns up. India competes. India wins. What India is refusing to do is participate in the fiction that everything is normal. It's not. Not after decades of terror attacks, not after repeated diplomatic crises, and not after Pahalgam. The no handshake policy is not about hostility between players. It is a reflection of a larger reality, one that Pakistan would not like to discuss. So in Birmingham, Pakistan lost twice. First, at the toss, the cameras once again captured a relationship that is anything but normal. Then on the field, where India outclassed Pakistan in batting, bowling and execution. The scoreboard read India 170, Pakistan 106. And perhaps the most telling image of the day wasn't a wicket or a boundary. It was the absence of a handshake. Because for India, the message remains unchanged. Cricket can continue, but respect and normalcy cannot be demanded while the issues that destroyed them remain unsolved.